So let's just jump right in. What if the key to understanding our world and, ourselves isn't about finding some brand new answers, but it's actually about looking at old words in a totally new way? We're going to explore a text that suggests exactly that. By re-examining words we just take for granted, we can unfold a completely different reality. And the inspiration for this, well, it comes from a place you'd probably never expect.
That's right, Mad Magazine. The author of the text we're looking at sees its mascot, Alfred E. Newman, as this sort of closet mystic. I mean, think about it. His famous line, "What, me worry?" could have come straight from a Zen master thousands of years ago. It's this exact mix of the silly and the profound that really sets the stage for a much, much deeper idea.
So the author takes satire, the very heart of Mad Magazine, and uses it as a metaphor. Specifically, you remember the famous Mad Fold-In, right? Where you'd fold the back page and a whole new hidden image and message would appear? The whole point is that the world isn't always what it seems on the surface. And just like good satire, it kind of forces us to look past the obvious to see what's really going on.
And this, right here, brings us to the central theme of this whole explainer. Life itself is presented as a cosmic fold-in. Every word we explore is like a clue in this giant puzzle. By just pausing to think about what they really mean, we start to fold back the page on our own reality, revealing a journey that, as the author puts it, is entirely inside of you. Okay, so if life is a cosmic fold-in, what's on that first page we're looking at? Well, the author argues it's a reflection of our society. It's a diagnosis, really, of where we might be going wrong. And the evidence is right there in the words we use or misuse every single day.
So our first word is stupid. The dictionary calls it a simple lack of common sense. Pretty straightforward. But the author isn't just talking about individual foolishness here. Nope. They're using this word as a lens to examine our entire information environment, suggesting there's this kind of collective haze we can all fall into.
And the author's point is that this kind of stupidity doesn't just happen by accident, it's systemic. When falsehoods get repeated over and over until they start to feel true, the entire landscape shifts. In that kind of environment, the text argues, wisdom gets pushed aside and just basic decency can get lost in all the noise. Next up, we've got honor. It's defined as sticking to what's right, a core principle our society is supposedly built on. It's the bedrock of trust in our institutions and, frankly, in each other. It's the idea that there are some lines you just don't cross.
But here's the fold-in. The author observes this principle is just eroding. The text suggests that for some people in public life, the chase for power has completely replaced the principle of honor, leaving truth and our democratic systems, in the author's own words, on the sidelines.
Our third diagnostic word is shame. Now, this is more than just feeling embarrassed. It's that internal compass, right? That feeling that stops us from acting foolishly or cruelly. It's a fundamental part of a working moral code for a person or for a whole society.
The author's big concern here is that when leaders act without any shame, they lose that critical self-correcting mechanism. And this creates a vacuum where, once again, the lines get blurry between fact and fiction, and all those foolish actions the author warns about can happen with basically no consequences.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis, a society kind of struggling with truth, honor, and shame. But the author doesn't just leave us there. If these words show us the problem, then which words hold the solution? Let's take a look at the prescription.
This section is all about the tools. If the goal of human life is to transform, then what words can we use to actually do it? The author presents a few key concepts as our own personal toolkit for change.
First on the list is equanimity. It's that state of inner balance and calm, especially when things get chaotic. And the author points out this is not some new age trend. It's a state that mystics have been seeking for millennia. In today's world, it's an absolutely vital skill for navigating stress without letting it tear up our body and mind.
Next in our toolkit is intuition. The author makes this really fascinating distinction here. Our intellect is developed by society. It helps us, but it stays inside the box. But intuition, that's our built-in internal GPS. It's that gut feeling that just understands things immediately, without all the conscious reasoning.
By learning to pay attention to it, we can get way better at sorting truth from falsehood.
And finally, the author gives us a roadmap for how characters built. And it's this powerful chain reaction that starts with something really small, our thoughts. If you watch your thoughts, they become your words. You watch your words, they become your actions. And those actions, when you repeat them, become habits. And in the end, your habits forge your character. It shows that transformation is a step-by-step process, and it all starts from the inside. So, we have our diagnosis and our tools. But where does all this lead? This final section describes the ultimate goal, a state of really profound inner connection and balance. The author asks us to think about harmony not as some passive state, but as a conscious act. Are we actively trying to bring our mind, body, and soul into alignment? It's compared to fine-tuning a guitar. It's something we have to do, continuously, to stay in tune with ourselves and the world.
Beyond the constant division and anger we see out in the world, the author suggests that true unity is found in a much quieter place. As the text says, the wise man has said to enter into the silence. In silence lies the unity of life. It's this state of oneness that exists right underneath all the noise.
And this leads us to what the author calls our true nature, aloha. And it's not just a greeting, it's a whole way of being. It's the essence of love, peace, and kindness, living in harmony with everyone and everything around you. It's presented as the state we get back to when we strip away all the anger and division. And this brings us to the core message of the Folden, the hidden truth right beneath it all. You are the universe. You just don't know it. The infinite isn't out there, it's right here, inside of you. We are not just a small part of the cosmos. The entire cosmos is contained right within us. And so we end right where we began, with a riddle. This question, a lot like the Mad Folden, doesn't have an obvious answer. It's not meant to be solved with your intellect, but to be experienced. It points us back toward that same inner journey, leaving us to ponder the reality we just might unfold for ourselves.